Well, we continue to crisscross the country with our reporters. Our senior reporter, Malungelo Booi, joins us live from Mdantsane in the Eastern Cape. Phakgadi is in Polokwane in Mankweng. Nasiphi Same is in Cape Town for us as well. Malu, let's begin with you. The need for improved service delivery appears to be the reason some Mdantsane residents are heading to the polls today. What's the sentiment that you're getting on the ground where you are?
Right, Michelle. In fact, we are at NU7 here in Mdantsane. It's at Ward 20, which is one of the most hotly contested wards here in the Buffalo City municipality. The area on its own, the ward on its own, Michelle, has about over 16,000 people that are residing here. And there are 4 voting stations here in Ward 20, and we've been told that this particular ward or this particular voting station is going to be one of the busiest, and we can already see some of the people that essentially have come out to vote this morning, and they're waiting patiently, and most of them have their masks, which is something that the Independent Electoral Commission has actually urged those that will be coming to vote to put on their masks when they are here. But also, Michelle, what has been interesting, because we've been spending most of our time with some of the residents in this particular community yesterday, some people saying that they're here to vote because it is important, they want to see service delivery in their community. They're talking about the issues of unemployment, they're talking about crime, but also, Michelle, they're just talking about clean streets. But others, though, having told us yesterday that they won't be coming to vote because they have voted before and that their lives have not changed at all. So it's going to be interesting then, Michelle, to see how the voter turnout it is here. But also what is more interesting about this particular ward, Michelle, is that while you've got about 20 political parties, including 4 independent candidates that are contesting this ward, some of those independent candidates are people actually that were members of the ANC that have decided to go as independents, and some people in this particular area of the view that that will take away the support from the African National Congress. In 2016 local government elections, we saw the ANC getting about 73% of the votes in this ward. Michelle?
The other issue there in Mdantsane, Malungelo, as you know, is the issue around the election of new ward candidates. Do you foresee, given what's unfolded over the past few weeks, that after these elections there's going to be a lot of contestation there?
I mean, it's something, Michelle, that has not only been happening here in Mdantsane, it's something that's been happening in other parts of this province. We've also spent some time in Dimbaza, Michelle, where some residents were actually telling us that they won't be voting today because the candidate that the ANC has put forward is somebody that they do not support. So it's something that we have been seeing in various areas here in the Eastern Cape, and that's something the ANC in this particular province has also considered, saying that it has spoken to some of its supporters that they need to go and vote, and that particular issue would be resolved after the elections. Michelle?
Malungelo Booi, thanks very much indeed for that update. He's live to us there from Mdantsane in the Eastern Cape. Let's take you now to the Western Cape. The DA City of Cape Town mayoral candidate Geordin Hill-Lewis expected to cast his vote at Edgemead Community Centre. That's where we find our reporter, Nasiphi Same. Nasiphi, you've gone now from Sea Point, where we spoke to you a little earlier, to the community of Edgemead. Tell us about, the different touch points moving from Sea Point to Edgemead.
Well, Michelle, what we can note is that it's a hive of activities and municipalities are up for grabs. Earlier on this morning when we were in Sea Point, there were still a number of people trickling in, but here in Edgemead, where we can expect the DA's mayoral candidate Geordin Hill-Lewis to cast his vote here at Edgemead, there's quite a number of people, and I'm actually joined by him here. Geordin, thank you so much for your time, but I do want to talk about, voter apathy and what are you bringing on the table. We saw that there's about 7 points or 7 things that you'd want to address from the DA side?
Well, I can tell you that there's no voter apathy here in Edgemead this morning, which is fantastic. The queues are nice and long, even though it's still chilly, which is a great sign for voter turnout. Edgemead residents have always been very faithful voters, and so this is great to see. And we just ask everyone around the city to please, despite the chilly weather, come out, do your duty, and cast your vote today. Obviously, the plans that I have put forward for the city over the last 3 months, I would hope would energize voters and give them a sense of the future of Cape Town and what is possible in the city, and that they would get behind that and come out and vote today. So that's how we hope to energize voters.
Are you looking at increasing the numbers of the DA in the city of Cape Town, or, possibility of talks with the smaller parties and independent candidates?
No, it's definitely not going to be possible to increase our majority. The 2016 election was defined by a wave of anger around Jacob Zuma. That is, that's not the situation today. But we are just hoping for a strong win. But every single vote is going to count. We don't want to, risk anything with the city's future. So that's why we're just asking everyone to please come out and vote today for the DA.
Geordin, a number of people from places like Khayelitsha, or rather disadvantaged communities, were a bit outraged, following Helen Zilla's comments that, people that are living in townships obviously have better access to services than any other municipality.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
That's objectively true. On every single objective measure in the country, that is absolutely true. This is the best governed city in the country, and it is the best governed for everyone. On every objective government measure, the poor in Cape Town, the unemployed in Cape Town have better access to basic services, more free basic services than anywhere else in South Africa. That's not a statement of opinion, that's a statement of fact. That does not mean that we don't have a lot more work to do. There's still far too many people in Cape Town living without dignity, without the access to services that they need. So there's always much more work to be done, and I'm very passionate about doing that and improving those basic services for everyone. Cape Town spends more than double on free basic services than Johannesburg, a city with many, many more people. And that's just one example.
Geordin, the issue of land, I know that the DA had a picket at the Public Works Department a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
How's that going so far? Is there any update in that regard?
No update, I'm afraid, but the important thing to say is that our commitment in this election is to speed up the release of public city-owned land for more affordable housing for Cape Townians. We've always paired that commitment with a call to other levels of government, particularly national government, who owns the enormous piece of land just next to us here down the road in Easterplaat and many others around the city, to please release those as well, so that we can really make a big difference in the housing backlog in Cape Town. But from our side, from our commitment, we will speed up the release of city-owned land.
And your thoughts on the number of independent candidates within the city of Cape Town, about rather over 40 of them, yes, including newly established parties that are looking to give you a run for your money?
Yes, this is the big risk in the city, that all of these small, tiny little parties on their own do not pose a challenge or a risk to the DA winning in Cape Town. But together, if they all nibble away at the support, then that is a risk. And that's why we are saying to people, please come out and vote today for the DA. Don't put the city's future at risk. We've put a positive plan on the table for Cape Town's future, to secure its future, to take it to the next level as a city. But that requires your help as a voter today.
Thank you so much, Geordin Hill-Lewis there. He'll be joining the queue now to obviously cast his vote here at the Edgemead Community Centre, touching on a number of issues, saying that obviously as the DA in the city of Cape Town, they are promising better quality life for the residents in the city of Cape Town. Also touching on that comment made by Helen Zilla this weekend, obviously outraging a number of communities that are plagued by social ills. However, he is saying that as the DA, when they win, they will obviously be working tirelessly to ensure that all the residents get the necessary service delivery that they need.
Nasiphi Same, thanks very much indeed for that update. She's live to us there in Edgemead in Cape Town. From the Western Cape, let's take you now to a voting station in Polokwane's Ward 25 in Mankweng. It opened on time. In fact, as early as 6 a.m., people were already queuing to cast their votes. Newzroom Afrika's Pelane Phakgadi is at the Ditlalemeso High School, where Unit C residents are voting there this morning. Pelane, great to see you on this voting day. What can you tell us about Ward 25, Mankweng?
One of the contested wards within the city of Polokwane, Michelle, I can tell you that this, of course, the African National Congress and the Economic Freedom Fighters, the two main political parties at play here, are neck to neck. In 2016, we can tell you that about 7,000 people actually registered to vote, and about 50% of them actually came out to vote. And of that 50%, about 49% of the support went to the African National Congress, and 46% to the EFF. They were the new kids on the block at the time, and of course, believe you me, that was one, I could say, a match to be reckoned for. This particular ward in itself, quite highly contested. Hence, you've seen that D.D. Mabuza, as the ANC deputy president, was in this very ward contesting about 3 weeks ago. And then the preceding week, ANC president Cyril Ramaphosa was also here. And the week after, EFF leader Julius Malema also came about. So they are all looking to try and find their way through the 40% mark, of which the political parties are currently enjoying. Those two, we do know that the DA came in at 5% back in 2015. So we've also seen them around here and trying their best, of course, to canvass and still persuade some sort of support in their favor. So in that regard, seeing that the place is quite highly contested, quite a security in detail here. I'm just going to ask my colleague Katlego to show you around the police presence in this particular ward before we go on and show you the queue. So this shows you the kind of seriousness as far as the MEC for community safety, Malungelo Booi, was saying yesterday that there will be nothing left to chance looking at those highly contested wards to try and ensure that there's security at all times and ensure that the ballots are well protected. So the queue from 6 o'clock, as you've already rightly put it, we've already seen quite a number of people who were here in their numbers to try and ensure that they cast their votes on time. It was open at exactly 1 minute after 7 o'clock this morning. So I've seen a number of people voting through here. But I'm just going to try my luck and speak to some of the people as to what is it that they're hoping to get as far a change as far as the voting is concerned when the time arrives. Malakai? Man go no botsishana ke a bona le go vouta le mo line go jwale ge le ya go vouta mo le ka thabela go bona diphetogo tsa mohuta mang ke le fetsa mo
le ka thabela go bona ditsela ka ga metsi ka sekontiri
tsela le ka mara metsi ka
le metsi a o se fele everyday le mebereko ya bana bana ba tsa dikolong ga bana mebereko
ke le nama
ke nna tloa ga kgonyana.
That's one of the voters here. She's literally just saying that she would like to see the roads in the area and as well as running water. The area has rationed water supply every now and then, and as well as to ensure that the young people, their children, when they do finish up their schooling, they are able to get employment and to ensure that there are basic services rendered here. So when her voting being cast today is all in hope that that will be realized.
Yeah, Pelane, I mean, you talk about the issue of water. It's an issue around the country, in many provinces around the country. In Polokwane as well, there's the issue of intermittent water supply in some communities. You know, and the woman I think that you just spoke to now also mentioning the issue of water. How much will these touch point issues, do you reckon, influence the way people will vote today?
Look, it will be a very difficult one to say as far as the influence is concerned. We are aware that the ANC, as far as the ANC nationally, quite a number of their support comes from the Limpopo province. So we've seen that even though that the big guns were coming through to canvass in the area, the support base remains there. So the water issue remains a challenge for many residents in the area, We do know that the Lepelle Northern Water, which is also responsible for rendering the services of infrastructure and maintenance of that infrastructure, has been riddled with allegations of corruption, rampant corruption that I had, and of course that in itself has shown a number of people being arrested, even the former CEO currently undergoing trial for allegations of corruption, and bringing that particular water facility onto its knees. So giving water supply to the areas in and around the city of Polokwane has been a challenge. Hence you've seen Julius Malema, the EFF leader, coming through to tell the people that his council, should he be elected into power, will be able to deal with the aging infrastructure, and as well as trying to establish new ways of giving water. There has been some areas of which the EFF have drilled the boreholes, but here in the Mankweng area, the ANC has been trying to lure in support by saying that they can do better, and also claiming that they concede to the challenges of which they had, and they concede that there has been issues around maladministration and as well as incompetence, and should they be elected once more, they will be able to bring about some needed change. So in that regard, 49% the ANC, 46% the EFF. Back in 2016, it will be toe-to-toe when we come through to listen to the results come through tomorrow, when we start seeing those numbers trickle in.
It's certainly been the message from ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa throughout the weeks he's been on the campaign trail. We know we failed you, but we are going to do better. Pelane Phakgadi, thanks very much indeed for that update. He's live to us there in Polokwane. Just interesting to note, if we look at the province as a whole, 2.5, almost 2.6 million registered voters there. So keep that in mind when we take a look at the number of people who actually turn up to cast their ballots in that area and around the country as well.